Hello, my name is Pham Trung Nghia, and this is my video demo for assignment 1 of Security in E-commerce. For question 1, I will be demonstrating 4 attacks with 2 being SQL injections and the other 2 being cross-site scripting. To start, I will enter the login and password for BWAP, this B and bug, and set the security level to medium. And here, today we will do SQL injection for get select and post select. So first I'll do post select and press hack. For this one, I would need to use Birthsuit Community Edition, and you have to use intercept on. So now I press go in here. See it's loading. The Birthsuit has intercepted the package. So here it is, and here you can see it has this query right here: movie equals 1 and actions equals go. So first, when I want to modify this, I would move it to the repeater here. All right. Now, in my process of doing this, first I would do something like this. V minus 1 union all select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dash 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 and action go. And I would send it, and here we get the response, and we push on render. So here you can see here, it shows title 2, release 3, character 5. So basically, when you start doing this, you need to find out how many columns it has. So this is what I found. It has 7 columns. So we've been partially successful in injecting our payload into it. So how do you get something like the table name or the version here? So for example, when I do this, instead of 2, it will be version. And now you can see the version of the database. I can also try for free user. And I send it. You can see the user is root at localhost because I'm running this through localhost. And that is for SQL injection post select. And now we'll move on to the other one, which is SQL injection get select. Here it is. Yep, I forgot to turn off the interceptor. Thank you. It goes here. So basically, this has the same process, but this time I don't have to use Birthsuit. I can press go here. Oh, it's still in get select. My bad. Here you go. It's hack. Yep. For get select, you can see it has the query here. So we'll do the same thing. We found out that it has 7 columns. So now I'll go movie minus 1, union, all, select, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, dash, dash, and go. As you can see, it is successful. So now what do we do? We'll now do movie equals minus 1, union, all, select, and then we will go with 1. Instead of 2, we'll go version, just like post select, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, dash, dash, space, and dash. And now has shown the database version. See, it uses the same logic as SQL injection post select. Now we move on to cross-site scripting, and we will start with cross-site scripting reflected post. So in here, you can see there's a form where there are 2 input fields where I can enter my first name and last name. So first now I will enter my first name, is Nghia, and my last name is Pham. So when I press go, it says welcome Nghia Pham. So how do we execute our attack here? So for cross-site scripting, we want to inject JavaScript in order to bypass unsanitized input fields. So here I have a few. So I can use script alert 1. So when I press go, it will execute the script because it's unsanitized. So here when I press it, you say localhost says 1 twice. It says it 1 again. So and the welcome is empty. That's one way I could do it. And the second way is that I could use image source X 1 error alert. So for this one is more creative, that it uses the 1 error in order to activate the alert, because here the source of the image is X, so it will always trigger the error. So here I can show you. Let's go. localhost s1 twice, and now it even prints out two broken image icons here because it couldn't register the image. This basically works the same for reflected get. I'll show you, where I can also use the script here, and it will call localhost s1. It will print out the alert, and also the image source here, which works also the same way for medium level. As you can see, I have successfully orchestrated a cross-site scripting attack on the medium level for cross-site scripting reflected get and reflected post. And that's the end of the demo for question 1. For question 2, I'll be demoing the user registration form that's implementing reCAPTCHA version 2 and reCAPTCHA version 3. So now we will start with reCAPTCHA v2. Here you can see the registration form with username, email, password, and reCAPTCHA box. Here I'll enter my username, my email, and my password. And when I press on the CAPTCHA box, it asks me to choose traffic light. I don't know what this is. And bicycle, I will choose like this. Yeah, it verified I'm not a robot. And when I press register, see, success, CAPTCHA verified. So what if I don't press on it? Register, it will ask me to complete the CAPTCHA like I just did. So for this, it's pretty simple. Where here in this div, I have to enter the DataSite key generated from the CAPTCHA registration on Google. And for the process, I have to enter the secret key here. Now we'll move on to CAPTCHA version 3. So here, I'll move to CAPTCHA demo/v3. As you can see here, for CAPTCHA v3, it's much cleaner and it doesn't hinder the user's flow. You can see here, protected by reCAPTCHA. I'll do the same with name user at Gmail, and the password. When I register, and success, the reCAPTCHA verified. Username user, and email is user@email.com. So here I'll show you. For reCAPTCHA demo 3, it's also quite simple, where in the process, I also need the reCAPTCHA secret for the version 3, of course. And also in the index, I must also have the API and the input field here with the type hidden for the reCAPTCHA response. And also, I also need here the key for it in order for it to respond. And another side note, that reCAPTCHA v3 runs by calculating the data score of a user by their mouse movement and how they input. So when it calculates the score, if the data score is way too low, then you wouldn't be able to pass the CAPTCHA. Something like 0.5, under 0.5 is too low, and above is high. But for this demo purposes, I will just be passing whenever it passes, and I will disregard the score. But mind that in real-life application, they will have a scoring system in order to judge whether this is a bot spam or a legitimate user. And that's the end of question 2 demo. For question 3, I will be demoing my implementation for an email-based two-factor authenticator. So here you can see the login form. Now I will use the legitimate email, this one, and a password. For the demo purposes, this email is real, but the password is just a dummy so that we can test out the functionality of the two-factor authenticator. I'll enter this password, I log in. Now it will ask me for the 6-digit code sent to my email. So here, you can see the new email here, two-factor authenticator login, and the code is 528755. Copy that and go to the other tab. I enter it and verify. Success, you are logged in. And my email is this one. So with that, I'll show you the code. For index, it's pretty simple. It's just a normal form with email and password field. And here, for verify, this is important. So basically, the username mail here indicates the mail that sends the code. And this is the app password that has to be created instead of using your real password for this email. You can see set from this one using two-factor authenticator. And it will send using this form here in order to send the mail. And then the check code We'll then check the generated two-factor authenticator code to see whether it is the same code that you entered that is the same with the one that was sent through mail. Oh, and I forgot to show you. And I also have this one in order to generate the code. And that's basically it for question 3 demo. Lastly, for question 4, I will be demonstrating Google Two-Factor Authenticator for the e-commerce website here. As you can see, there's a Google Two-Factor Authenticator form, and there's a form with username, email, password, and OTP. But before we go into that, I have to go here, go to Gen QR code. So here you can see the secret and the QR code that is correlate to this secret. And you can see the current OTP is this one, just for testing purposes. So basically, each user in a real application will get its own secret, which is generated through the code in Gen secret here, Gen QR code. But for the demo purposes of this assignment, I will use a fixed secret so that I don't have to constantly changing the secret and updating my authenticator. So now I'll be showing you here. This one I have to set a dummy username and dummy password, which is this one. And password is PSSWORD123. And here, if you look at the OTP, I can show you here. The OTP is 548732. Here is 548732. So now when we log in, this is a success. Welcome to the web page. So I'll come back here and I'll re-enter the password. I'll demo what happens when I enter the wrong one. So here, the OTP just resets into 912464. As you can see here, 912464. So now I'll enter something random, like 61, or username is or password is wrong. Oops, password 123. Here, I see. When I entered a random OTP, it will say that my OTP failed because it didn't match, and it doesn't let me log in. So now, I'll show you the code. It's very simple. First, the index, as usual, is just the form. And we also have the user profile, which is using, like, it hosts dummy user data, with my user being this, my password being PASSW, yeah, and my secret here. And the Gen QR code is just there so that when you use Google Authenticator, you can scan the QR in order to have that code on your authenticator. And for the login check, it's very simple. So here it just checks for your username and password. This is just like how a real application checks for your username and password against a database. And for this check result, it will look for the matching OTP to see whether it's actually matched or not. And if it does, it will welcome to the web page, or else it will say that your OTP failed and decline your login. And that is basically it for question 4. And that's the end of my video demo for assignment 1 of Secure Electronic Commerce. Thank you for listening.